Husband ruined my career. I, 26F, met my husband, 40M, when I was 19 and he was 33. When I met him, I had just moved out of my hometown where I had just spent the last year living in a trap house and frequently using drugs, and I wanted to get my life back on track. He had just gotten out of the military. Things seemed pretty good at first, but there were some red flags. With me being so young, I definitely wasn't super emotionally mature, and this would be the first actual relationship I was in. Looking back, I just really feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I had nothing to compare this to, and I wasn't ready to be in a long-term relationship. The things that stand out the most looking back as red flags include: he once trespassed in my friend's house who I was staying with, hiding behind furniture and spying on us to make sure I wasn't sleeping with my friend. I wasn't. He once made a very extensive list of things he didn't like about me. He would keep track of how many times he had suicidal thoughts. It was in the 300s. And he would throw it in my face and blame me for having those thoughts. Not something he did to me, but he told me a story about how he tried to get his kid put up for adoption just to spite his baby mama so she could never see him again. He also kind of always talked down to me, and he says he didn't mean it that way, and I don't necessarily think he did, but he always just kind of made me feel kind of dumb. After a few years, I ended up joining the Navy and we got married. After my first deployment, I came back, and it's hard to explain, but things just felt off. I didn't feel attracted to him anymore and really felt uncomfortable with any kind of intimacy or him touching me, but I figured I'd get over it and things would go back to normal. Eventually months and then years went by and I still had that same feeling. I didn't really feel comfortable telling him how I felt because usually when I said something was upsetting me he wouldn't really care, and plus I didn't want to hurt his feelings. He would often touch me, and it's hard to explain, but I would get the same sick feeling in my stomach that I can only compare to the same feeling I had when I had gotten raped once in the past. So I would either just clearly act uncomfortable but he would keep touching me, or sometimes I would say I didn't want to be touched and he would sometimes continue but sometimes he would stop. However, we went years without having sex and we would just kind of act like things were normal even though our marriage was extremely degraded, but I guess we both just didn't want to talk about it. These years were hard and I felt extremely depressed but kept it bottled up. I went on my next deployment, and at that point I had already decided I would ask for a divorce when I got home. I didn't plan on cheating, but since I already felt that my marriage was over, when someone made a move on me, I ended up starting an affair. I felt extremely guilty and admitted it to him after about a month. He said he forgave me. I stopped the affair for a while but eventually started it up again, and he said he was okay if I kept it going during deployment if I cut it off when I got back, and I told him if he wanted to sleep with someone else too that was fine. When I got back, I still wanted a divorce, and I figured since I was trying to get divorced, why not keep the affair going? I kept asking for a divorce but he kept saying no, that he wanted to stay married. I told him I still wanted to be friends and we could do it amicably. I told him I thought he deserved to be with someone that would be better for him than me. But he refused to sign papers. I felt completely trapped, and I used drugs a few times, while on leave and on long weekends, because I felt that that was the only thing that could make me feel any happiness. After a few months, my husband called the police and my command to report me for using, and revealed that he had been working with NCIS for months to build a case against me for using drugs. He had been collecting evidence, including going through my phone and taking secret videos of me. Now I am getting kicked out of the Navy after just getting promoted, and I was about to re-enlist and get a huge bonus. I won't be able to use the GI Bill and it'll be hard to find a job. This has also ostracized me from my friends, so I am completely lonely and isolated while he at least has friends and family for support. I guess it serves me right, but I just keep wondering why he couldn't just divorce me like a normal person and we could move on. Story 2. Cheating husband. No one would have suspected him of cheating. Married 7 years. Together total of 17 years. 2 beautiful kids. Boy with autism, 6 years old. Girl 4 years old. So I am regular housewife. Take care of kids. Do everything around the house. Clean, laundry, groceries. My ex does not lift a finger at home. He finished eating and left the plate on the table. We got into a fight over that, and finally he is able to put it in the sink. I also work as many hours as my ex. But I do all the extra stuff. Thank God for my parents. They see what I have to do, so they help me. My ex hates them, but uses them and me like mates. He is Pakistani and I am not. It was great at the beginning. But things slowly changed. He does not do any housework at all. Never cleans, but wants his bedsheets changed once a week. Prior to finding out, noted changes in his demeanor. Always looking for fights. Short, curt, and never spend time at home at all. Cannot look at me. Even talked to me at one point wanting a marriage in name only for the kids. His version: we will be friends, not husband / wife, but still married. He goes out and comes home to sleep at night. My son has autism, so used to sleeping with ex in order to sleep. He even tried to train my son to sleep on his own. Guess what? He goes out every week to an expensive hotel with a prostitute for a year. Buy her Burberry bag. Gives her money to buy appliances, etc. I found out because he never lock his phone. All of a sudden he locks it. I realize one day his phone is always on his person. Constantly texting on it. When I text him or call him, he does not respond or answer at all. Anyway, he finally wanted to get a divorce because he just wants to be with this Brazilian prostitute. What's the worst part? The prostitute is married. She's cheating on her husband. She does not want to be with my ex. But she encourages him to leave. WTF is wrong with people? So he wanted a divorce and leave me and kids. After he lied and conned me into signing our house as a collateral for small business loan. Right after he asked for a divorce. Never see it coming. Never ever I imagined thus would happen to me. I got STD from his cheating. But what can I do? Nothing. Hate myself for being stupid. I did the worst thing I could do. I swallow my pride, beg him not to do it. Kids need us. So he gives them whatever they want. Now my daughter does not want me anymore. Tells me she doesn't want me. She's a child, but it hurts. I have had enough of abuse. Faithful in my marriage doesn't matter how hard at times. Everything I do is for my family. Just want to share my story. It's crazy, but there are people out there who do things that's unimaginable. Just look at this comment. Sacred 7 Lotus says, I've been married for almost 22 years and I sacrificed my entire life for my kids. I understand where you're coming from. Marriage is hard. There's so much I'm teaching my daughters about marriage that it makes them want to never get married, but I wasn't trying to steer them away from marriage. I was trying to give them like a cheat sheet of the do's and don'ts. Last year I finally had enough. I felt tired and too old to go back and forth over and over in circles. I felt like I grew up and my husband never did, and that was sad because we didn't have anything to talk about because he's stuck in the past and I was already living in the future. I lost the fear of losing him. I knew it, just wanted to feel free and full of peace. I thought a relationship was supposed to feel uplifting, but to feel like I would be at peace with my relationship ending says a lot. We finally had 2 whole months of talking through all of our issues every single day. It was more uncomfortable for my husband because I never wanted to hurt his feelings, but then I thought, well, we're already at rock bottom, there's nowhere to go from here but to build back up, and I wanted to start off saying how I feel and how I've always felt, and I mean I had 22 years of SHT that collected. He could only handle 2 to 3 hours of my honest heart speaking and then continue again the following day. I wanted to say everything and whatever happened after that was okay with me because at least I didn't leave anything left unsaid. We're now in a place where we feel like friends. Now we can be super honest and transparent. I'm slowly falling back in love with him. My reply: that's great for you. Marriage are not the same for everyone. We all need to work really hard to maintain it. My ex do not want to communicate or talk. Gets angry and annoyed with any questions I ask. Anything I do for the kids' house, etc., he will say something negative. For instance, getting the kids dressed to go out, he would nitpick what I put them in. Ask why I don't get them new clothes. and ask if I pack their stuff, water, snack, instead of helping me getting the kids ready. Yeah, that's my marriage.
Thanks for watching my video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Reddit stories.